Hello everybody, welcome to Savage Ink Studios. I'm your host Ink, and today you get 2 stories. Yay! Just because they're both pretty short stories that probably won't take me 10 minutes to tell. So, our first story is That Time I Got Physically Thrown Out of a Bookstore. So this was 8th grade, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that I had a group of friends. Everyone called us the Phantasmic Four. It was me, Tiffany, Brian, and Vlad. So we had this Boston field trip. Went to see a bunch of cool stuff, the big 3D IMAX theater and aquatic interesting stuff. That's the whole Boston field trip I could make into a totally different story. However, this story is about our trip to the bookstore. Because we were, good, studious kids. Right? No. No, we were not good, studious kids. We were fucking troublemakers, which is why we got thrown out. Let me tell you the story. So we go in here, and we didn't go in with the intention of doing bad kid things. We just went in because, books, and we're all losers and we like to read. So we're looking through the shelves, and as we get to the back of the store, we start seeing some really interesting titles. One of them happened to be The Bible of Sex, which, for 13-year-old boys, that's a book you want your hands on, you know what I'm saying? And this is, so we grabbed that book, but Vlad decides that we need a distraction book so that the cashier isn't going to be paying attention to the fact that we're pooling our money together to buy the Bible of Sex. Sex Bible, whatever this thing was. Giant book, tons of pictures, we were loving it. So he goes to get a distraction book, while me and Brian are just sort of flipping through the pages like, oh man, this book is going to change our lives. So he goes to get a distraction book, and what does he pick? How to Build Machine Guns. A book. We were so clever. So we go up to the register, and the guy at the register looks at both of the books and says, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to sell you these. And I just stepped forward, all extra confident and cocky and obnoxious, like I was, and kind of still am. And I tell him, it's on the shelf, you have to sell it to us. It wasn't in a back room hiding somewhere, it wasn't in an 18 plus section, it was out on the floor, therefore you have to sell it to us. Isn't it illegal not to sell people books? Isn't there like a freedom of reading law or something? And whatever I was saying made some kind of sense to this guy, because he didn't just flat out tell us no. He's like, I'm just going to have to check with my manager because I don't know if I can sell you these books. And I'm like, good, you call him right now. So he's getting on the phone with his boss to see if he can sell us 13-year-old losers a book on sex and how to build guns. When, guess who walks in? This should be pretty easy. It's a field trip. Who else is going to walk into a bookstore? Maybe our English teacher? Mr. Java, our English teacher, walks in, and at first he looks really excited, like, hey guys, you're here buying some books? That's awesome. And the guy behind the counter goes, are these guys yours? And he's like, yeah, they're my students. Why? And the guy behind the counter holds up both of the books. And let me tell you, it almost hurt my heart a little bit seeing the look of excitement on his face turn into this look of pure just disdain and disgust for us children. Disappointment. I mean, I liked Mr. Java. I didn't want him to be disappointed in me. And I looked at him and I just go, what? It's educational. And he grabbed me and he grabbed Vlad by the back of our shirts and dragged us out of this store and threw us out of this store, yelling at the top of his lungs, his face is all red, about how we're embarrassing the school and how could we act like this. And I'm standing my ground on this one. I'm like, Mr. Java, these were both educational books on how to do things. And he's like, you cannot try and buy books on how to have sex and how to build guns on a school field trip. Do this shit on your own time. Why are you guys always so much trouble? And we're just like, yeah, because we're teenagers, maybe? I don't know. So that was the time that I got physically thrown out of a bookstore. Did I deserve it? Maybe a little. It's not like I stole anything. And this is the perfect segue for my second story. The time that Ivy's friend almost got us arrested. Sorry about the gap in audio there. I got to mess up and I'm still learning.
The audio there, guys. I messed it up and it's double recording. So, sorry about the interruption. Perfect segue would have been until the audio issue into the story of how Ivy's friend almost got us arrested. So, to start off, I'm going to say that even now, Ivy's taste in people that she spends time with is not the greatest. I mean, just look, she hangs out with me. All jokes aside, though, this girl was kind of trouble. And she'd been known to steal from us and then tell the other that, oh, I didn't steal it. The other one gave it to me, and
eventually we figured out that she was not, that we were not giving all of our stuff away to this girl. She was just taking it. I'm really sorry. This is like triple audio at this point. Yeah, this is the third time that I've recorded this because I'm so exhausted that I just keep on screwing up. So, it was summertime, it was really hot. We were walking across town so that Ivy's friend Denise could find cigarette butts to smoke. Awesome, classy. But we had nothing better to do, so we went with her. It was summertime, so it was really hot, and in the city that we grew up in, it's not uncommon for people who don't drive to just pop into stores with air conditioning while they're walking around because it's hot. So that's what we did. We popped into a local store that we probably shouldn't have been in there without money anyway, because this is the type of store where they're going to assume that you're shoplifting even if you're not. So I was walking around with Ivy and Denise and not really paying attention to their conversation or whatever, and I ended up pulling Ivy aside to show her some hair products or whatever. No big deal. Checking everything out, I'm looking at hair dye. And so we cooled off, ready to go again, and we go to walk out, and the cashier stops us and says, I need to look through your bags. And Anis's reaction is just, no, you can't. And, my reaction is, Ivy, just give him your bag, I'll give him my bag. It's not like we took anything, so we have nothing to worry about. So we gave them our bags, and there was nothing in it. So finally, Anis hands over her bag, and lo and behold, there's a whole bunch of cosmetic crap in her bag. And she starts, crying and freaking out about how she must have blacked out. Sometimes she blacks out and steals things, and she doesn't remember doing it. And even at this point, I don't think that Ivy was buying it. She was just horrified that we got stuck in this situation with her friend that was trying to steal stuff from the store. So they end up calling the police, and the manager of the store, told me and Ivy, you guys need to go home, or you could potentially be in trouble too. But Ivy, being the great friend that she is, was like, I'm not leaving her here. I can't just leave her here. So we waited it out, and her mom ended up coming to get her, and I don't think that she ended up getting in any actual trouble. Her mom had to pay for the stuff that she had tried to pocket or whatever. But I mean, when the manager told us if we didn't leave, we were potentially going to be in trouble, and Ivy's like, I'm not leaving my friend, I was totally convinced at that point that we were going to get arrested because her friend decided to shoplift. So that is the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed both of them today. I hope you enjoyed my digital art sketch. I know the anatomy is way off on this piece, but I hope you guys liked it anyway. Sorry it keeps on blacking out. Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one.